Good afternoon. Another Friday, last Friday of the year, isn't it? For us.
Absolutely.
Woohoo! It is the 27th of December 2024. As you can imagine, things are slow, I guess. It depends on what you're looking at. But yeah, in our industry, kind of slow, right? No sales going on pretty much. Installs are getting pushed back to the next year. Um, it's that time of year. That's what happens. That's actually I like it. I mean that week between the two is good. The only thing I don't like is sometimes it takes people a week or two to ramp up,
That's very true,
when they get back.
which usually means the slower January.
Right.
And then many of us who, and clients who wanted to take advantage of the end of the year, pretty much got everything done trying to move into those last 2 weeks of December.
Yeah. So there's the collective sigh of relief or whatever.
Correct.
It's hard to get geared back up.
Plus, this year you've got two major holidays falling on a Wednesday. So who's off on Monday? Who's in on Tuesday? Everybody's off on Wednesday. What happens for Thursday or Friday? And
2 weeks off.
that's 2 weeks of that pretty much.
Yeah, that's rough. But having said that, I mean, there are some things that are going on, I guess. I'm following obviously a lot in AI, but that seems to be everything
Yeah.
seems to be happening all the time. That's like no big deal, except for any more news did you hear on the Lexmark Rico thing?
Well, that is the biggest news because last Friday, right, a couple days before Christmas, you kind of expected that nothing big would happen.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Monday, there's that email out there that says Xerox is going to acquire Lexmark. Pretty substantial.
Yeah, it is. It's not as big as others in the past. I mean,
Oh, I don't know about that. I
well,
mean,
yeah, the Rico icon was pretty big.
right. So
Yeah.
I don't know what Rico paid for Icon, but Xerox is going to pay 1.5 billion
Right.
for Lexmark. And that comes off of 2016 when Nine Star basically bought Lexmark for 3.8 billion.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a big loss in value.
Took a loss. And
Yeah.
you know what? I mean, I've always liked Lexmark mainly because they were number 2 or 3 or 4. And they're always trying. That's why I liked Rico back in the day when it was Rico and Canon, because Rico was always number 2. And they would try harder than Canon. But there were some issues with Lexmark. Lexmark had some good. I don't know what I guess I'm getting at is, are they worth 1.6? Gosh.
Well, I guess Xerox believes they are. The question then becomes is will Nine Star put up a hedge and say, maybe we're not getting enough money for this?
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
I
Right.
really don't know how that works as well. But there's, I guess, approvals from what I've heard that got to come from Nine Star, and then there's some regulatory things that have to the companies may have to jump through.
I would imagine they'll sail through that side of the
Yeah,
part.
I would say with the new administration coming in, that's going to be very business friendly.
Yep.
I don't think the government's going to put up any fight. And to think about it even further, I mean, wouldn't that be great to get those Chinese-made devices off, owned by an American company?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I don't know how integrated they became. Right. I'm pretty sure it was pretty. I mean, I'm not sure how much of it was actually manufactured in China. If they really, I don't know. Maybe they did.
So I spoke to a guy today, and
Yeah.
a lot of the Lexmarks are actually made in Suarez, Mexico.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I guess the consumables came from China. Nine Star, is that a
Parts maybe, toners.
part? But that's good because those parts can certainly be sourced domestically or anywhere else. I'm almost certain, right? And the toner and supplies
Right.
got to be the same thing. So then it becomes a marketing issue, right? They keep the name Lexmark, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so. From what I've heard,
Well, they
and
shouldn't.
maybe one year,
Well,
18
that'd be
months at
good.
most.
But if we look at the copier industry in general, I mean, Lanier's still around, right?
Just in brand name,
Yeah,
In name only.
yeah. They took forever to even
name
get to this
only.
point. But yeah, that'll be interesting. And I don't know about the locations or the multiple line, the line dealers. There aren't that many, are there?
Um, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of the distribution points that buy from Lexmark and then sell the dealers. But Lexmark pretty much sold all of their
Yeah,
property in Kentucky
that's
this
right.
year,
They don't have a headquarters in Lexington anymore. That's right.
right? So a lot of questions. One person told me it's all about their MPS business.
Which, I mean, how are they defining MPS? Just printers?
Well, printers and probably A3 devices as well that are under MPS engagements.
So that's where they'll try and turn existing contracts that they don't have exposure in the
Correct.
A3s, which
Correct.
with with Lexmark, that's not a bad. I mean, Lexmark had a pretty good rep. They were decent. There were
No,
some issues, but not a lot that I can remember. That I remember, right? I mean,
right.
that's a long time ago. And I think they got an awful lot of government contracts.
They have an awful lot of government contracts, universities.
Oh yeah, and education. That's
Uh-huh.
right.
Hmm. Also, whenever you walk into a Home Depot or a Lowe's, all you see are Lexmark printers,
Yeah, they put a lot in the retail.
right?
Um,
So the only one of the other things that I thought about was um Lexmark, right? So Lexmark has their own OEM A3 MFPs.
hmm,
So the first thing I thought about was, okay, well, Xerox is starting to get pressure in the world, right? Pressure from Fuji, right? Fujifilm,
yes,
right? So Fujifilm, Caton takes on the Xerox or the Fujifilm boxes, which are identical. Uh, Marco takes on their
that's right.
production, right? Which are the Fujifilm production devices,
Oh, okay.
right? So it's interesting, and as far as I understand, I could be wrong, but I don't believe there's a contractual agreement with Xerox and Fujifilm, but they are buying their print devices from Fujifilm. So maybe with this added pressure, how does the A3 Lexmarks play into this? Does Xerox come back and say, okay, we're not going to do business with Fujifilm anymore for the A3 MFPs.
Right.
It's all going to be the Lexmarks, but we're going to continue with production with Fujifilm.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with their production side. I didn't know Fuji had that much.
They've got quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah.
You mean production devices like
Oh,
100
yeah.
ppms and up and all that's Fuji?
Oh, yeah. Big color devices. Matter of fact, Sharp took on a couple of the Fujifilm production devices. I think it's pronounced Revora,
Okay.
right? And then you look at how Mitch Philby
Yeah.
chimed in from Australia and saying that there's basically no presence of Xerox in the Australian marketplace.
Well, Xerox isn't what it used to be. That's for sure. I mean, do you see what's the stock at 8 or something like that? I
No,
mean,
I'm not sure. I don't follow their stock.
I just look at it every now and then just to see those in HP, and then you compare it to Nvidia or the big boys. It's nothing. But anyway, um,
But
that
it
is
is
interesting. So they could, if they, and again, it's easy to find out if they've got anything legitimized with Fuji for their A3s. I seem to remember when the split came, there was talk that there was still a contract to back and forth. I don't even remember what it was. Someone was making devices for someone else and putting their labels on it. So it was either Fuji to Xerox. I think that's what it was. But that now just throw those Lexmarks out there. Actually, it could be a good thing. It could be a good thing in terms of, but it's only going to cannibalize existing fleets, whoever they are. No one's buying new printers. You know what I mean? There's no
Oh,
extra capacity. You're replacing or
right.
you know what I mean?
You're stealing existing
Yeah,
MIF, or
yeah,
you're
right.
stealing existing clicks from other manufacturers or other vendors.
But that's what you got to do.
Well, that's what you have to do, right? To get
Exactly.
growth.
Yeah, yeah. Hey Art, I don't know if you know, but your
And the
camera still
J-Press
isn't
1160
streaming.
CFG are ready to take on the next frontier of high-quality roll-to-roll inkjet. The J-Press 1160 CFG brings together Fujifilm's core technologies, experience, and expertise to solve the relationship between water-based ink and paper that has challenged the high-speed,
Is this
high-quality
me?
production inkjet
It's
market
got to
for
be you.
years.
I did not know that.
Where did that come from?
Well, I'm looking. There was nothing playing on my computer, but I'm looking at Fujifilm's websites.
Oh, they probably snuck it in on you.
Maybe I don't.
I know.
That's weird.
I got nothing.
Happens
Sorry
to
about
me all
that.
the time. Yeah, I don't have anything lit though.
I thought
But
Art. I thought that was you playing that.
No,
I was
that
gonna say
wasn't
thanks,
me.
Art. Now I know a little bit more about Fuji.
It sounded great. I don't know.
It did sound good. But Art, I was telling you, I can't. Your camera is not streaming, so if you have it on, we don't see
Really?
you. Yeah,
No, I see it.
I
I
don't.
see Art's camera.
Yeah, I see
Okay.
John, and I see
All right.
you.
I don't see you, Art. I see a blank. All right. Well,
Do you see me?
I see you, John. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's weird.
Right.
Interesting. Anyway,
Never mind.
I will not refresh, but I am here.
I believe you.
Yeah, so that was that's still some pretty big news.
Yeah.
A lot of other questions come into play as far as are we going to start seeing a lot of people leave Lexmark early,
Who's
right?
left?
Hmm.
Well, there's going to be
Salespeople,
redundancies, right?
technical people, correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Have you heard anything from Kyocera's camp?
No, but I did have a comment from somebody that sells Toshiba and was concerned about what's going to happen with that relationship.
Yeah. What do they? I don't know. What is their relationship right now?
Toshiba sells Lexmark
Oh,
printers. And I would say, I mean, I haven't checked it out, but I would say they probably have the ability to sell MFPs. I mean, I could be wrong.
oh, well, I don't know. I don't. They were shifting things around a long time ago. I think well, I know lots of questions. Once
Right.
again, the industry is jacked up.
Right. What happens to their existing contracts, their relations?
Same old questions. Yep.
Will the
Yep.
acquisition help them to compete with HP and Canon?
I would imagine Xerox was a bigger competitor than Lexmark to HP,
Right.
but that's not saying much. HP is still the big blue gorilla in the room when it comes to those. Not when it comes to their MFPs. I don't even know how their copiers are doing. They're pretty new colored copiers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I don't
follow them
know,
that much.
which means it tells me I don't hear about it that much, which kind of answers the question.
Right. But you go back 5 years ago, and who was trying to buy HP?
I know.
5 years later,
So Well, yeah, you know, that's a good point. Pull out the 2 years of COVID when no one was doing anything. So you're right. So maybe this is a pivot that was going to happen. Would you know what I mean? Because Xerox was looking for something. I don't know if they could have swallowed HP, but they might have been able to swallow. Well, no, yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, the printer side. I don't know if HP would have done it, but that's an interesting thing. Lexmark, didn't Nine Star take Lexmark off the table? Wasn't that around the same time?
I don't know. I don't
I
remember.
don't remember. I don't remember, right? Because you, I forgot. I do remember what you said now is that Xerox was looking for something, and HP was the rumored victim or whatever you want to call it. And well, now they have Lexmark, which would fill their A3 lines, get them even more inroads into government and education, secure their position against Fuji. You know, because now Fuji doesn't. They don't have to buy the engines from Fuji.
They don't have to,
Shore up
correct?
their domestic, which is cool. And you know, there is a certain
And technology that Xerox doesn't have that Lexmark does.
Lexmark's got some tech. Um, it's a good name too, right? I mean, people have a positive,
Correct. Yep.
you know, positive feeling. So there's some feel good in there, and you could ride the American flag too if you wanted to throw that at it and go that route. Um, what did Xerox do with its channel? Didn't they? I think, and I know Ricoh shifted all their stuff to dealers.
Right.
Did
So
Yes.
Xerox? What? Well, Global. No, Global's independent now,
well,
isn't it?
they bought Global. They
Didn't
pretty
Global buy
much
their way out? No, that's Dex
no,
and
no.
Yeah.
yeah.
They pretty much screwed that up. That's the comments from quite a few people, and also
The
comments that they could screw this purchase up just as bad as they did with Global.
I can't think of talking about mergers for all its complexity. I think that the Rico Icon one ended up okay. I mean, talk about an
yeah.
octopus and an octopus. Totally
I
crazy.
I think at the time, Icon was bigger than Rico
I know.
in
Yeah. I
The
mean,
U.S.
it
In the
was.
Icon
U.S.
was bigger than Rico.
It was bigger, and they got through it. But Rico was always um they always grew through acquisition.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, when they bought the
Oh,
Gestetner and the Lexmark
the
and the
Monroe,
Monroe and three
Savin.
Savin, yes, they wanted that technology. They bought it, and it just kind of in you know grew through those acquisitions. So they were better at it, I think, than uh at the time Canon, who was the other
Right. The other suitor.
the other major player with Xerox with Icon. I mean,
Yeah.
um, that's not really Canon's thing.
Here,
So yeah, I don't know.
here we go. 2008, 1.6 billion.
Really?
Yes, Rico purchased
In
Icon.
$2008. I don't know how much that'd be worth today.
Oh shit, maybe double.
Yeah, maybe double.
Maybe, yeah, yep.
Wow. Yeah, that's the last one I remember being big. And then Xerox buying Global, that was big. And then the Dex thing too, that was big at the time, right? Staples. And I think it was more interesting because it was an office products company. Man, the potential was there too, right? They had a huge distribution. They could have just didn't work out. And this
This
one
is
though will probably easily matriculate in and back and forth, I think. We'll just see.
interesting. In 2007, Rico's revenue was 18, almost 19 billion.
Hmm.
Huh.
So I'm just going by what the web's given us here. Rico's annual revenue in 2024 is 16.2 billion.
It's 16.2 right now, and it was 18 back then.
Yeah. Well, reduction in print.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, from what I've heard from others, that basically, Xerox, I mean, Lexmark's gonna go bye-bye.
Hmm.
They'll cream, Xerox will cream what they need,
Mhm.
right? Keep the MPS because that's all they really wanted. Again, hearing that from others. And the rest of the company will disappear into the brands that have gone away.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there, like I said earlier, alluded to, there's probably not that many left. I mean, Nine Star probably gutted it pretty substantially. Although I don't know. I really don't know anyone who still works there. I haven't talked to him. I think I do know, but I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, I know about a handful of people.
Yeah, a handful. But I was always sorry to hear, sad to hear that a Chinese company got him. That was not. I did not think that was cool. And then when this other thing came up with the technology and the government slamming it down, which never really did anything anyway. I mean, the government was still buying Lexmarks.
Right. Well, at least you don't have to worry about the potential for spy chips.
There you go.
Because that was a talk track a few years
Right.
ago as well. So what's new in the world of AI?
Oh my
Anything?
goodness. Well, OpenAI has been having their 12 days of Christmas, so it's over. It was over this last Friday or Monday, this Monday. Each day they release something new. And the big things that SORA, which is a graphic imaging LLM, you pretty much type in what you want it to make. And they usually, it's usually been in the past, it's been a still image. You can, Santa Claus on a reindeer on Mars, and it'll interpret that and give you an image, and you can maybe play around with it and get it better. Well, Sora is for video, so now you can create videos with text. And I honestly, God, I've played with it maybe once or twice because I'm not a videographer. So if someone who knows how to put together, I mean, you can storyboards and camera angles and lighting and all that. You can not program, but you can prompt all that in,
Right.
and boom, you've got it. And as I've been saying about it, this is the worst as it's going to be. I mean, it's only going to get better and easier now, and quickly. So as you can imagine, Hollywood and the creatives, I think they're over the shock. They're now just accepted the fact that everything is going to change, and you're going to jump on and use it, or you're just going to get left in the dustpan. So I don't hear too many people complaining anymore about what they were complaining about a year ago whenever something new in the creative industry came out. Now it's just, okay, we know it, we're going to use it. And they've been using it all along anyway, so but that's out. Their voice command stuff has gotten a lot better in like 2 weeks. It's incredible.
Really, I haven't tried it. You're trying it on your phone, right?
I've got it. Yeah, that's the only time I ever used it. But I've seen other people hold long conversations with these things, and they're not talking recipes. Quantum mechanics. You want to know about up to date, including the new little computer that Google came out with, and what does that mean? What's entanglement and blah 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 blah, and and no one's worried about being right or wrong now. Which, okay, cool. I wouldn't know anyway. But it's engaging, it's conversational, and it's when I say customizable, you could hey, don't be so verbose. Keep the answers down to 7 to 10, 15 seconds. Don't ask me a follow-up question. Just answer my questions. You can tell it how to act like you always have. But now it takes me a while to screw it up, to like talk too fast. Now I haven't done this yet, but I've also seen people who are listening to it and interrupt it like a human would, and it handles the interruption, which that's
That's
big.
that's impressive. That is impressive.
Yeah, and like I said, it's only going to get better. and it's only been 8 months, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed, it's been they've been playing the Coca-Cola ads a lot
Yeah.
in
Oh
the
yeah.
football games.
Yep.
That the newest Christmas ad for Coca-Cola
It's
is
all
made
a.
by Real Magic AI. There's a
Yep.
little blurb in the corner of the screen. Couldn't believe it.
Yep.
It's completely, yeah, it's
Now, as a consumer looking at it, that works, right? It's Coca-Cola, it's the trucks, it's the bear, it's
it's
the snow.
exactly
Hey,
But
exactly.
one sec, I'll be right back.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then when you see, you'll have videographers get it. Well, it looks, look at it. It's a quick cut. Well, yeah, it is a quick cut because you can't do it. You can't
right.
stay on it that long. Okay. All right. Even the music was computer generated.
Yeah,
So,
it was fine. It was no better or worse than any other ad I've seen.
and like I
So
said, it's only going to get better. And
yes.
now, okay, Mr. Videographer that says it's all quick cuts. How much do you think that thing costs? And do you think maybe
Um,
they did it in 3 or 4 days as opposed to starting in May for the Christmas campaign?
yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Uh-huh.
I would be very anxious if my job was graphics.
It's graphics, and copywriter's been gone for it seems like forever, but those are the first guys to go because you
Yeah.
don't need a copywriter to write just regular everyday copy.
Yep.
You're going to
Yep.
see now. I think this will what 2025 we might begin to see where the newscasters start to disappear.
Sure.
CNN. I mean, when that happens, then you know it happened. It's done. When they put a talking head and it can be done.
Hmm. Absolutely. And in that case, it can be done probably pretty easily because the script is already there. It's not like they're creating,
It's
just talking off the cuff.
shoulder up. It's a slice out to maybe a live feed somewhere and brought
Hmm.
back.
Yep.
This and right now, honest to God, those scripts are what every news, the newscast is dead, but every newscast I think has 17 minutes of on air time. The 13 other are
I
commercials, and that's
I
probably
believe
being
that.
nice.
Yeah.
And if you whittle it down to the feel good story,
Hmm.
your obligatory 6 minutes of climate fear that always comes up. It doesn't matter that it's been snowing like this since 1900, but this is the every snowstorm has a name and it impacts 15 million people. Well, yeah.
Hmm.
So you're going to do that. The news stories are all what are they? 4 minutes,
Snippets.
maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 There's some stock footage, and yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we can do a newscaster right away, and you can make. I don't know what you did, Art, but now I can see him. But thank you.
Refresh.
All right. Um, And then you can make the newscaster or weather girl look any way you want.
Sure.
Have you seen the Mexican weather girls?
No.
I don't think so.
Bikinis.
Nah. I've seen other countries have
The
very
Russians are the ones
very
that have the.
provocatively dressed. Yes.
I don't know how we got on this subject, but I'll take credit. The Russians have the. They take off their clothes as the newscast continues. Now it's either crazy or is it genius?
Who
Because
knows?
they never get completely naked. But it's just, you're they're going on and on about the tanks and somewhere, and she's pulling off her blouse. Wait a minute, what am I missing? Then the girl's giving weather, and she's
What is she
starting up
saying?
there, and hilarious.
Oh
But
boy.
anyway, yeah. So once we see the first artificial intelligence newscast on one of the big three, one of the big ones, because they're going to finally get over themselves.
Mhm.
I think I don't I think I blame Peter. What was that guy's name on ABC back in the 70s? Was Walter Cronkite was the last Brokaw, Cronkite, Ted Koppel.
Oh
Those
yeah.
guys were
Jennings.
announcers. They were never the story. But
Right.
Peter
Peter
Jennings
Jennings.
came in and became the celebrity newscaster. And after that, then you had Phil Donahue, you had the good talk shows, but then you got, oh gosh, what was his name? Remember when talk shows took a dive? Now, those will
Oh,
probably stay.
Donahue?
after Donahue. And it was, they were all sensational. You are not the
Oprah,
father.
Sally, Jesse
Well,
Raphael.
Sally Jesse, yep, she did. Yeah, that's right. Forgot about Sally.
Yeah,
So,
they're
yeah, I would imagine when we see a talking head AI deliver the nightly news or cycle 24/7 because you don't need a person there. And
sure.
then the people interviews will be even more important because they'll be, live people, real people, and they'll be out in the field maybe. They'll be actually
Hmm.
doing real cool stuff
Yeah.
versus reading someone else's words. So that Sora, the verbal, um, they're all really, Gemini, they've all got something new coming out. I heard though, where was it? Just yesterday, the Microsoft one, Copilot, is now it's in Office 365. It's in there. And they're going to start charging for it. So it's like you didn't even have a choice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is relatively hot, last 48 hours or 72 hours, some hoopla going on that, hey, yeah, Copilot's there, but guess what? It's going to increase remember that the subscription is what, $3 a month, $8, whatever
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
is.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So you get Copilot for, it's in there, but it's $1 more a month or something stupid like that.
Hmm.
And it's not as good as the other ones. So we're starting to see now,
Oh, really?
Copilot,
Ah.
Perplexity,
Hmm.
Meta, boom, 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 OpenAI, and they're all jacking it. It's just like back in the pre-Google days. The Ask Cheese, the Lyra, the different types of search engines that were out there.
Wild Wild West.
It is the Wild Wild West. Love it. And so that's a big deal. Who's been extremely quiet has been Grok, Musk's AI.
Oh, yeah.
See, so he started his NVIDIA farm in Tennessee.
Well, now I thought that was to train his self-driving cars.
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, nicely done because all the
Gotcha.
data collected by the cars gets
Sure.
fed into Grok.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's
That's a huge
SpaceX.
advantage he has. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all horizontally and vertically integrated. It's all so, and
Hmm.
and that's why Meta's got theirs and Google's got theirs, and it's their databases that really quote unquote separates them for now
Mhm.
because Google's
Yep.
got what, 2 3 decades of data if you think about it, and everyone's Gmail, everyone's GDocs, everyone's all that stuff from the yeah, it's Google, yeah. um and then Meta's got Instagram, the Facebook data, all that data is in there. And Microsoft really doesn't have as much data relative to those two.
Right.
Grok only has Twitter, but Grok has Twitter in native. Um, and then, but I mean, he's got, shoot, I forget the numbers. I think 100,000 GPUs running right now in Tennessee. By
Crazy.
next year, he wants it up to 1 million. So he wants to buy 900,000 more from
So
NVIDIA.
what's a GPU?
It's it is a computer. Let's just put
Okay.
it that way. It's designed though, but
It's
CPU is what's in everyone's Intel-based systems, central processing unit, CPU. The GPU is graphics processing unit, and they were originally designed to take the graphics tasks and chores off of the main CPU and run those calculations and make your screen do colors and everything like that. So it offloaded that from the CPU. Because back in the day, you had to get a VGA board, which is basically the same. You could get a board that went up high res, whatever. You could do all sorts
Mhm.
of stuff. Where NVIDIA put all that on a chip. And I remember the day I got my first, there were video games that were designed for the NVIDIA protocols. I don't even know what they were called, but geez, something. Anyway, and I've said this before, it was just dumb blind luck that in order to put all the calculations and all the calculating power in one chip that would light pixels in a certain manner at the same time, so you could run a real graphics engine, a graphically intense video game, happens to be the same power you need to run AI. right? So so you've got this company that I just wanted to design a chip that did graphics for gamers, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 and oh yeah, but you know what? If we throw AI at that chip, it's going to work a lot better than this DOS-based Intel chip, and
Yep.
that's what happened. So GPU, and then he's got GPUs are computers, and 100,000 of them right now in Tennessee, and he wants to get that to 1 million in like 2025. So, and those machines, because they can process so much more quote efficiently, I guess you can ask, it depends who you ask, than the other CPUs, it's better at it. It's better at learning, it's faster, it consumes better, calculates better than a regular old Intel based 8088 or whatever they're called. So that's a GPU art, graphics
Got it.
process.
Got it. Interesting. Do you think with all the players now and all the updates, um, Lord, does it become too much too soon? I mean, I'm just reading some paragraphs here about what happened in 2024.
It's only going to get more.
And
There's only yeah.
it's incredible. I'm sure some of these players are going to back out at some point in time. It's almost like everyone has some sort of AI offering.
Very similar to the early days, Art. Of course, the scale is huge, much
Yeah,
more vast than it was when, because I don't know if you remember, but the PC revolution, everyone, leading edge, Gateway, Dell, and I could go on,
right.
boom, 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 boom. There was at least at any given time, at some point, you could probably purchase one of 40 different brand name computers and then build your
Yeah,
own.
yeah, yeah.
Now it all solidified
Compact.
down. Yeah, and yeah, Compaq. Yeah, I forgot about them. IBM, Compaq, Acer, Gateway, blah blah blah. You're
So
seeing that almost right now, right?
I mean the names here: Adobe, Apple, Meta, um, 11 Labs, Google, Anthropic, AWS. I'm not even sure how you pronounce this one. Cognition, Samsung, Alibaba, Grok, Microsoft.
Everyone, and this is what I think, and I could be totally wrong. And everyone's looking at it this through the same lens, like we're just talking, right? It's an expansion, then a contraction, and look it down to like 3 or 4 players. I don't know if that's going to happen, and that's what got. I think it might just get even bigger because we haven't even talked about robots, androids, AI being so ubiquitous. It's in your light bulbs and your paint, and the water you feed your plants has got AI in it, so it can automatically all this other crap. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep.
It's and what's interesting now is that I think more and more people are getting it. Right? It's not a little tool, a little, it's golly, not just 12 months ago, little GPTs were the coolest thing. And companies were built on, well, you can use my software to do this, that, and the other thing. And it was just built on the LLM, the OpenAI. That's all it was, a wrapper. And it was gone in a month because OpenAI released the ability for anyone to make their own GPTs. And that's what happened. So it's only going to get bigger, faster. I think what the restraints right now are energy, believe it or not, memory, because that's actually a big deal. Memory, because right now that's one of the restraining things with AI as it's learning, especially at the personal level. As it's learning, it needs a place to keep that accumulated knowledge, not data, as it learns, and it's chewing up a lot of memory. So I read an article the other day is where these older LLMs are experiencing Alzheimer's because their quote memory is starting to fade
Huh.
because they don't have enough hard space to store the memories. So energy, memories, and data.
Mhm.
Now, data, they've been talking about data for the longest time, but I think we talked about it maybe a week or two ago. Um, the internet has already been swallowed. The internet has been taken. Everything that's on the internet is in an AI somewhere. So now they're worried about data degradation, data rot, stuff like that. I think that's not all correct. I think the data, we're thinking of data in historical terms. What the real AI will do is process as it comes in without regard to what has already been. Didn't Kamala say that?
What has been, what will
We're
be.
not
Not sure about
burdened by
that.
what has been.
So interesting.
Yeah,
So
so there's a lot
can
going on.
can regulation ever catch up
Nope.
to AI?
It's no. I saw that North or South Korea adopted the EU's AI policies, which are terrible. All of Europe is we're gonna have to save Europe again because they're never gonna catch up with AI. They're just the way it is. The regulation is constricting them. Any innovation is not going to occur there, nor is going to occur in South Korea. China China's even behind. Now there's going to be all this fear tactics. Well, yeah, well they're leap years ahead of us. No, they're not. This is an American Revolution. That's what this is, and we're the only ones left, and it's up to us.
Interesting. So, John, as a technology guy, how are you using? What's the little things you do every day with AI?
I mean, I don't use it every day, but
Okay.
I was just using it this last couple of, so
Yeah.
I ask AI to create for me a rule to exclude or include pages that I'm looking for in a document. Right. So I tell it, and I'm working on this. I've been working on this customer for a while now. They have a patient record, right? So they have some documents are everyday visits, some are lab reports, some are insurance correspondence, some are just hey, I called, I need a refill, whatever. And every one of those pages is important, but it needs to be categorized. So when I look at it, I asked AI, I said, when you check this zone, I need to be able to find certain values. Or when I look on this page, I want to make sure I see this value, but not this value. And it creates for me a formula that I use in my filter for that page. So I feed it the entire patient record, which could be 5 pages, it could be 150 pages. And I say, look at this, separate everything into all the different types of documents that the customer wants. Take those documents, put them back together in like bundles. So all my checkups are going to be in one file chronologically. All of my lab reports are going to be in one file chronologically. All my correspondence are going to be in one file. My insurance is going to be in one file. And I'm going to take those 5 files and give them to their EMR system, which is in the cloud. And then the doctor, when they're in the office, they're in their patient exam room, they have a tablet, and I can say, show me all the patient's lab results. And it looks around. Because these documents could be anywhere in this file. There's no order to the file. We have to be able to recognize every page as it comes, separate them, categorize them, recombine them, and give them to the so AI helps me do that. Because if I had to write I don't know if you know what regular expressions are, it's painful, and AI does it for me.
So AI will provide you with the expressions after you
Yes.
define you tell it
Yep.
what it needs.
I give it the rule. I say,
Right.
check this value to see if it contains these values, but not these values. Or if it contains this value, or if this value is this, then the document type is this.
So the AI that you're working with is built into the system, or is it outside of the
It's
system that you're?
um, that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure I know
Okay,
because it's in the interface of the scanning application,
got it.
in
Okay,
the admin interface.
I see. Okay, okay. So
I mean,
what I'm used to hearing is that programmers are using an LLM to actually generate code. and
Yeah.
then taking that code and putting it in, right? Because it's whatever,
Sure.
it's outside of the system. But
Right.
you're saying you've got a window inside the whatever admin that
There's a
is
little box in the field when I say, this is the page that I want to recognize, and I click in the box and I say, I need this, and I
right.
hit, it's a little picture of a head with like gear inside it. I said, make magic happen, and it gives me this whole regular expression. And they can be pretty complex. But that's a really, really simple way of doing it. In other times, I'm giving the actual paper image to the AI service and saying, hey, categorize this for me.
Well, that's what I would think would be.
In some ways, that was much easier. But I needed 100 examples of every doc type. I needed
Right.
100
So it wasn't really AI. That's machine language. It's wrote language
machine learning. Yeah.
machine learning. Yeah, it's like a big, huge macro.
Yeah, I guess. But it worked
Well, it'll work
99.99% of the time.
as long as everything is within parameters. It'll work.
Well, there were some awful image examples. I fed it after it trained. It was amazingly accurate. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not 100% sure what you call it. The thing is, on the training side, all it wanted was 100 examples of what you're looking for, and I'll find it. And it will
But then
find
after that, it
and
will
after that,
find it. Yeah,
yep. So I
interesting.
don't know. You could do
Yeah.
it with less, but it wouldn't guarantee the accuracy. So I don't know. That's pretty amazing. And they're charging for that service differently than they charge for regular standard zonal OCR kind of thing.
Oh, are they? Well, okay, that's interesting though too, because then it
Yes.
would suggest there's a service behind it that they're
They're
trying to cover the
exactly.
cost on.
They put a cost on that. Yep.
So it's costing them
Per
something. Well,
page.
maybe it's not. Well, it's a service provided. Machine language doesn't use tokens, so that's usually where the charge comes from, is because you need so many tokens to process whatever the hell you're doing.
Yeah. So this is it's and this the one where it asked for 100 examples, it was all cloud based. It was sitting on I think they used AWS.
Okay.
The E3 Elastic Compute Cloud or whatever. That's where their AI was running. So that's why they
Wow.
charged. And then so if you're just using zonal OCR, it doesn't care how many you process. It's just up to the speed of your processor locally, and it's all
Right.
local. So I had a customer who wanted to do that with their documents, but they worked with Defense Department, so they couldn't do offsite.
Right. Had to be on site. Sure.
Had to be on site.
That makes sense.
So do you use AI for anything personal?
I mean, I played around with it.
Non-business?
I just played around with it just to see if I could get it to work on my Raspberry Pi, and it worked. So that was kind of cool. But no, I don't really use it that much. I don't I don't blogs. I don't write stuff. I mean, you guys write, a ton of stuff. I don't generate any content, so I'm not using it for that. So I like to dabble. I think it's pretty cool what it can do.
I use it more business than I use personal, but I think I got to get into using it more personal.
Yeah.
'Cause I just posted a question. What movies should I watch that came out in 2024? And I'm a sci-fi buff.
Oh,
And I mean, I could scroll all I want through Netflix or Apple TV and probably not find the right movies. And here it gave me 6, and I've watched 3 of them so far.
Well, there you go.
But how is Godzilla and Kong sci-fi?
I never liked Godzilla. I never liked King Kong. Never did.
Same
It always
here.
bothers me.
oh, it's sci-fi because
It
it's all
is.
because of a
I would say
nuclear
it's-
bomb, an atomic bomb
Oh.
started everything.
Hey, Greg and John, have you guys watched Silo yet?
Oh yeah.
You have
What?
Silo.
Silo?
Silo. It's on Apple TV.
No, is that where some like a bomb blows up and their people are out walking in the wasteland or something?
Well, dystopian.
That's the other one. I know what that's not the right
Okay.
one.
That's not
it,
the same
John.
one. Okay.
So, dystopian, basically, the whole world with the crap and everybody is housed in underground silos that have
Uh,
about 10,000 people per silo. And the powers to be didn't want them learning about old technology.
Yeah.
So they cut them
Uh-huh.
off from all old technology. Of course, they have a computer, but they show almost like an old compact computer doing all their coding and programming.
Yeah, and a hard drive, and
Mhm.
they're down there for generations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
generations.
Wow.
Yeah, you live and you die in the silo, and you never go outside.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I never I don't know if I've ever really liked the dystopian sci-fi stuff. I like
Yeah.
dystopia. I like zombies.
Hard to get away from it now.
I
Mhm.
guess.
You know.
With AI coming on strong, those robots walking around, yeah, that's a little bit too much like the movies.
Well, there's sci-fi is just becoming sci.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Greg,
Go
any
on.
thoughts for the new year?
Uh,
Anything?
oh wow, good question. I haven't even stopped to think about it. More of the same. Keyword more.
No trips?
Nah, no trips. Not yet. Maybe Taiwan, which is a hell of a trip, by the way.
That's a hell of a trip,
But I doubt. I don't. I don't think I need to. I don't know. I might hit the West Coast again, U.S. Hit California.
right?
Right now, I don't know though. Yeah, that's a good question. No, I'd say that 2025 for us is going to be more of what we've already seen. It's not going to slow down. I think in the copier industry, that's going to be very interesting, Art, and we might have a place to play with it. I think the biggest change that could happen is in the actual sales process. I think that could really, once and for all, we could really step out as salespeople. Of course, it'll mean getting rid of maybe 60 to 70% of the staff, but that's a whole nother thing. But
Yeah, the 2-year-old rep can now become a guru or an expert if
there's no,
they use AI properly.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you don't have to do something for 10,000 hours anymore to become an expert. That's why there's no such thing as an expert anymore. I mean, I know it
Correct.
sounds crazy, but it's true. Like we were just talking about, someone who doesn't know anything about quantum can learn at their pace,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
As long as the data and stuff is clean. And right now it is. Right now everything is clean. Don't know, what happens in the future.
Right.
But
How
yeah.
about you, John?
I
Any
don't
New Year
know.
plans?
I mean, plans? No, no plans. No plans. I think the kids are all going to be out somewhere. So it's going to be me and wife and watching the ball drop, and that's about it. See if we can make it to midnight this year.
Yeah,
Same here.
that's what happens.
Stay
Yeah.
home, 10 o'clock, 10:30. All of a sudden you wake up at 1:15. Oh,
You missed it.
I visit.
I missed it all.
Uh, yeah. Flip back
That's-
and forth, see who's singing in Times Square.
Absolutely. So that's about it for our show
yeah.
today. We're going to call it a wrap.
Right.
It is a little bit after 5. It's Friday, the 27th. And please, we'll be back next week, probably for our first New Year's show.
Yep. It's gonna be
And
great.
please like, follow, share. See you all next time.
See ya. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year.